Hi, my name is Danae Estabian, and I'm going to be showing you how to use the Student Senate website. Now, you're probably wondering, why is this girl showing me how to use a website? Like, it's not hard, like, that's easy. Well, there's been a lot of feedback that the Student Senate website can be a little bit difficult to navigate, so I'm creating this video resource to walk you through how to use the Student Senate website to hopefully make it a little bit easier to understand. So, first things first, open up the search engine of your choosing in the search browser, and you just search KU Student Senate, and then it is pretty much the first link that pops up. And so this is the Student Senate homepage, and so it kind of just explains just briefly a brief overview of what Student Senate is. So then you go over to the menu page. You click About Us. There's a tab with the mission and history. So if you click on that, you kind of just see the Student Senate mission statement and then a little bit of the history of what Student Senate is and how it came to be. A key note tab here is the Student Senate platforms. And so these are the platforms that the current administration has. So these are the platforms that they ran on and the platforms that they are working towards to make change on campus. And so if you click each tab, you can learn more about each platform specifically. And then here in this tab, you can meet the president's cabinet, and you can also see specifically their office hours. So this is the executive staff, and you can see their names, their position, and their contact information in this column here, and then their office hours here. And so this is an important tab to note if you're ever wanting to come speak to the student body president, the vice president, or any of their executive staff members. You can see on this tab exactly when they're going to be in the Student Senate office, on what days and what times, and so you can go in and meet with them. And then here is the StudX tab, just kind of gives a brief little explanation about StudX. If you ever want to track the legislation, this is the tab to do so in that legislation tracker. And so it'll take you to the legislation tracker where you can see all the different legislation that has been going through councils and assembly and which ones are failing, which ones are passing, and you can just keep track of what's been happening in Student Senate. Now, if you're wanting to submit legislation, this is the tab to do so. It will take you to Rock Chalk Central, which is where you submit legislation. You can either just go on to Rock Chalk Central and find the link yourself, or you can go through the Student Senate website here. This tab is for funding, so if you're interested in applying for any type of Student Senate funding, then you can learn a little bit more about the specifics here, but then I would also suggest that you go watch the how to request funding video posted on our YouTube channel, as well as the how to request DEI funding video. So you can learn about the difference between the two types of funding and how to request funding from both those different fund pools. If you're interested in getting involved in any way, these are some links for you, specifically the joining a student senate link, or joining a student council link. And so this gives you an overview of the different councils that we have, how they work. And then if you click student senate councils, it takes you exactly to the councils. So we have 3 councils: finance, social justice, student rights and affairs. And here's the contact information for the 3 main people in charge of overseeing those 3 councils. And so reach out to any of them if you're curious about that council and what's going on. You can find their contact information here on the website. And so that, again, that was under the joining a student council tab. Now, if we go over to branches of government, these are 3 different branches of government. And at this point, if you're wondering, okay, what are these branches of government? What are senators? How does this all work? Then I would suggest that you go back and watch the House Student Senate Functions video, where I walk through exactly what these branches are, what being a student senator is, how you become a student senator, how they all work together, and all those details. Go watch that video. So here in the branches of government, you can see the executive staff. And so the executive staff, also known as the president's cabinet, is hired by the student body president, the student body vice president, and the graduate student body president to make up the 7 executive staff members, and these are the current members. And if you click on their profile, again, you can see their contact information, their office hours of when they're going to be in the office, as well as read a little bio about them. The other branch of government is the legislative branch. And so that is which holds the senators and making of the laws. And so if you see the students' assembly, you can see the 2 main people that oversee the assembly, the Speaker of the Assembly and the Internal Affairs Director. Same thing, if you click on their profile, you can see their office hours and a bio about them. Again, this is another way that you can get to that Student Councils tab, where you can get the contact information of the people in charge of the councils. And again, it's another way to get to the legislation tracker. And this is also where you can see the list of senators. So if you're not interested in becoming a senator, but your organization is looking for funding, or you're just interested in writing a bill, then these are your representatives from each of the different colleges. And you can click on the tab and see all of them. And you can see exactly who you should be reaching out to or if you're interested in writing any sort of legislation. You can also see where there are vacancies, such as this, for example, meaning that that is an open seat that needs to be filled that you can fill by becoming a replacement senator. So this is a great resource to see who are some people that you can reach out to, but then also if you're interested in becoming a senator, you can see where there are vacancies. The last of the 3 branches is the judicial branch, which is the courts and the election commission. So you can get some information about them here. Documents and records. This is another keynote tab to keep track of. The Student Senate Constitution. This is a great resource for learning about Student Senate and truly diving in deep. This is about a 200-page document that is the Constitution that has all of our regulations for Student Senate. So, for example, Title II, which goes over the legislative branch, this has all the responsibilities of the Speaker of the Assembly, the Internal Affairs Director, as well as all of the senators. And Title III goes into deep detail about the executive branch and what all of their specific duties are, and so on. So it's a great resource to learn more about Student Senate and really dive in deep. Another important one in this Documents and Records tab is the template for legislation. This is a great resource because this is the template that you will use for writing any piece of legislation. So if you'd like to write a bill, then you use this template and it's completely formatted for you. You just fill in the information that you'd like to be put in there. That was for a bill. This one's for general funding. So each one is different, specific to the type of bill that you're wanting to write, whether that's just a general bill to do something, a bill to provide funding, or for a resolution. And also to note on these documents, don't request access to edit the document because these documents have to stay up on this page exactly as they are so that all students can access them as a fresh, clean document. If you're wanting to use it, you simply click File and then download it as a Microsoft Word, and then you have your own copy that you're able to edit. Those are the two main tabs on the Documents and Records, is the Constitution and the template for legislation. If you are a graduate student, then this is a great tab for you. This is the GSAB tab, and GSAB is the Graduate Students Advisory Board, and so you can see all the graduate representatives in GSAB from each of the colleges that you can click view their profiles, get their contact information, and contact them if you're having any sort of issue in your department or anything like that. Another good tab or notable tab is the Elections tab. This has information for the spring elections, which are the big student body president, vice president, and all of the different upperclassmen senator elections. And then there's also information for the freshman elections. So this Elections tab is great to keep note of. There's also this little Q&A section down here where you can have some basic questions answered. And if you're needing to contact Student Senate, this is the tab for that. But again, the best way to get involved, to get into contact with people is through the different contacts, through these different branches, specific to what it is you're looking to do with Student Senate. So that is how to use the Student Senate website. I hope that it was helpful and made things a little bit easier to understand when maneuvering this website. Thank you, and rock chalk!